There we go. Thank you for joining me and for tuning in to another edition of Interview with DJ Nocturna. Please like, subscribe, and share, and comment if you like this interview. I got three beautiful people on the show, and I'm so grateful to have them. I got the one and only founder of and curator of Beauty and Chaos, president of Schecter Guitar, Michael Ciravolo, who's back on the show. And I also have a singer-songwriter and founder and president of Daisy Rock Guitars. First time on the show, Tish Ciravolo. Welcome on the show. And all the way from the other side, where I'm far away from me, I have a Brazilian actress, artist, singer, and ukulele player, which is, we have that in common, Cynthia Hussey. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
And I'm so glad we were able to organize this because I know the time difference. I think if we went a little bit late, hour or two, it'd be too late for Cynthia. And if we went too early,
it's fine. It's fine. It's really fine.
But yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I know it's a big day coming up. There's a special date. We got February 2nd, 2022, because that's the release of the album. Beauty and Chaos' latest album, Behind the Veil, which is such a beautiful title. And Michael, I know you are the founder and you are the mastermind behind Beauty and Chaos, this Los Angeles rock collective, Beauty and Chaos. Now, when you created this project, what did you have in mind? Because everything that you have done so far, it's just amazing. Every single, from the time I met you and then you put all the different, I've seen it all on Facebook, from the beginning to now.
Well, that's very kind. It was, it was really just, it was a band that I was in at the time. I was doing, we were kind of doing a new human drama record. And I realized that I still wanted to do something that was heavier and more atmospheric. And Michael Rozon, who is my partner in this, just turned around and said, "Why don't you do your own record?" And it's like, yeah. And then once you say, yeah, you actually have to do it. So really with something for maybe a fleeting 2 or 3 days, that was just going to be my record, which I don't know what that would have been, turned into not a guitar player solo record, but this sort of revolving entity, kind of like a modern day, this Mortal Coil or something like that. And, certainly nothing like, I curate it. I just kind of put the pieces together. But I mean, I've been blessed to have, a bunch of amazing people, from the first record with Wayne and Ashton and Johnny, and that it just kind of went from there. And, it's certainly not just my project. It's everybody that kind of comes into it, stays part of the family. And on this record, features all female singers, 3 of them, 2 of them that are on with us now have been on before, along with Betsy Martin, and then also 3 new ladies that have joined the kind of the family or the gang.
Yeah, the Beauty and Chaos family. And I'm so happy to be a part of that family. I mean, I really am. I'm glad how you put that family together with everything. I mean, you are a great family man. I have to acknowledge that again, just how you treat your daughters, your 2 beautiful daughters and your beautiful wife, and this Beauty and Chaos family. I mean, isn't that just beautiful? I think it's just a beautiful thing. You put everybody together, you bring them together,
Yeah. And I get asked that, how do I find the right person? I mean, it's really just music until I turn it over, like Afterlife to Tish, who lives under the same roof with me, but I had no idea what she was going to do with it. And then sending this piece of music, to Cynthia, and it comes back and it's this gorgeous, song, Open Wound Heart. I kind of describe it almost like Christmas, bing, it pops up in the inbox, and really not knowing what you're going to hear. And it's really the singers and their melodies and lyrics that turn a soundtrack into an actual song. And, I've never been disappointed turning something back, like, yeah, I can't, that's not good. I mean, everybody's just been great, beautiful lyrics and melodies and everything. But these two ladies should talk about their songs.
Yeah, I wanted
They're
to.
two of my favorites on the album.
So Tish, so your song is Afterlife, and I know
Yeah.
there's a remix to that, right?
Yeah.
So I know you are also the founder and president of Daisy Rock Guitars. I wanted to ask you about that because I think that's amazing. I know it's tell us about that.
Okay. Sure. There's a TED Talk, so you can look me up on YouTube and watch it, and it tells you really all about the company. But as a musician in LA in the 80s, as a female musician, I dealt with a lot of discrimination, and there was always, it's a boys club kind of feeling. And as a bass player, I got myself into a couple situations where I really experienced it firsthand. And I decided after I met my husband and he started working at Schecter, and our daughter, who was 1.5 at the time, did a drawing of a daisy. And I drew a neck and a headstock on that drawing, and I took it to him and I said, you know what we should do? We should make guitars for girls. And he kind of said, well, what does that mean? And I said, well, first of all, it's got to be something that's really playable. It's got to have like a shorter, lighter neck, and lighter weight and a shorter neck, and like just be a little bit more easier for a girl to maybe hold. And I dealt with a lot of really heavy duty basses that had just really killed my back. And I said, but it's also got to be fun and really interesting and something that a young girl would be really attracted to. So she would look at it and say, oh my gosh, I could play guitar. Because in our society, as you know, when girls are like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, and the parents are trying to figure out if they're musically inclined, they're usually pushing them into piano or violin or clarinet. And so I said, what if, there's something out there that the typical suburban mom goes, okay, my daughter at 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 could play violin, clarinet, keyboards, piano, or guitar. Like it would just be a normal idea. And, growing up in the 70s, if we were a musician in the 80s and you were a girl, you were always kind of like from the wrong side of the tracks, or you were just, it was so few and far between. There was like a handful of us in LA in the 80s. And
yeah,
so the idea that I would create this instrument that would inspire younger girls to learn how to play, because I really recognized, because we were in the guitar business, the only way you're going to succeed at something like this is if you have this in the stores. So I really wanted to create an environment in places like Guitar Center where a girl would go in and feel comfortable, because I had never felt comfortable. Every time I'd go in to buy strings, it was always like, who are you managing in the band? Are you the agent? It was never like, you're a musician. And so I started this company called Daisy Rock Guitars, and it was all very just organic. I had decided that we should make the guitars for our kids and our daughters to have a different experience. And then once we brought it out to the public, it kind of exploded. And then everybody that we knew wanted one. And then all of the guitar centers and all of the different music stores wanted them. And so kind of started it in 2000. I'm 22 years in business. The first 16, 18 years were really, really big for us. And then it's kind of slowed down. There's it's kind of on pause right now. And a lot of that has been because of how society's idea of what a girl is has really changed with gender fluidity. So now we're kind of asking these big questions like, should there just be a girl guitar? Because seriously, I have more guys that have loved the guitars than girls, because they're so much easier to play, and they're just really kick-ass instruments. Because my husband helped me design the technical side of it, and he's just awesome. So that's how Daisy Rock Girl Guitars came into existence, and that's why it exists today.
I just thought that was a good segue to begin the show, since the new album features all female vocals. And I think it's just beautiful that this is all incorporated in that. And do you also make ukuleles? Because I know
I have in the past. Like I said, we're not doing any production right now, but yeah, I've made ukuleles. My mom's got a few of the Daisy Rock ukuleles in Hawaii, so you might run into her singing somewhere playing her ukulele. Or she would say in Hawaii, they pronounce it ukulele. They say
ukulele,
it
ukulele.
You know what I'm saying.
So this song Afterlife, I know you wrote it with Michael and the two Michaels.
Right. So Afterlife is a song that it's about what happens when you die. So I had a near-death experience when I was 18. I died when I was 18 for a few hours, and but I don't have a big memory about it at the time. But it's something that I've always kind of been fascinated with, and I'm always watching documentaries, and I read books, and I love Lorna Byrne, and that's all these people that I've kind of in like one of the groups I'm in Facebook, and I just am really fascinated with how people respond to and all these different stories people have when they die. They go to heaven, they go to hell, they have these out of body experiences. A lot of times they're in a hospital, they're seeing their body. And so I started kind of formulating this idea about what's in my head and how I would feel if I died again tomorrow, about what I would be asking. And so Afterlife really answers those questions in a song format where I'm saying, you know, when will I see you? And I'm looking for my guardian angel, and I'm trying to find this. Where's my answer? Where's my life review? How does this work? And that's kind of what the song is about. And just and having my own NDE, and then having other people that have NDEs, knowing that those are questions that they've asked. Because when you're dead, you start asking questions like, where am I now? Because nobody knows the answer. Nobody has a definitive answer. So, and I was very inspired by the music to kind of bring these yearning questions that I have in my soul about, where am I going to end up? Have I done enough? Have I been a good enough person? Have I loved enough? Did I do enough to do enough good things with my family and with people? And have I been generous enough? And so that's really what the song's about.
And I know there are remixes to this, right?
I'm going to let my husband talk about that, because he's more the remix guy. I've heard them, but I think he's got the names and stuff. I don't know if I know the names of the person who did it.
Well, Michael, who are the players?
On the track?
Yeah, on like Afterlife.
That was Dirk on drums. Michael Rozon played bass on that, and a little bit of keys that are there, and I did all the guitar textures. It's a simple music song. I mean, I approached that, and I'm sure that song, you know, a lot of people are going to pick up the Cure influence on it. You know, I'm a big fan of Disintegration. I just love the way that record is kind of linear, and it has the song or two that pops out, you know, the singles and stuff, but it has this cold vibe to it. And I'm always looking for that album opening track, how when you put the needle down, what you hear first. And that's what I was going for Afterlife. And all I really told Tish, I said, you know, this song has a disintegration like Prayers for Rain or Untitled, to where there's not this obvious, here's this big chorus that jumps out. It's not a big chord change that leads it into that. And I thought she did a fantastic job. You know, to me, the song doesn't get boring. You know, it kind of evolves with the story. And, you know, and this record has remixes. I love the idea of sending it to other artists and seeing how it inspires them to kind of shake it up and turn it back around. And yeah, there's
beautiful. Yeah.
Julian Shaw Taylor did a great one on that. And there's a couple of other ones. Paul Wiley, who was Marilyn Manson's guitarist. They did it. So it's cool. You know, to me, most remix records get boring because it's just, I'll change the beat and it'll be like, you know, 4-on-the-floor dance beat. And, you know, some of these songs are completely deconstructed with not a lot of the original parts of it, just like completely redid. Like on Cynthia's track, you know, John Fryer did a version that has none of the original music. It's her voice. And then Tim Palmer, who I think did just a gorgeous take on it, took what we did and kind of enhanced elements. So it's, you know, I mean, it's a lot of songs, and I don't expect that people are gonna play over and over all the remixes. There's some gems in there that I think people are gonna.
I mean, I like listening to different ones. You know, they all have a different sound and they all have a different feel to it. Like, you know, I know Cynthia, you worked before with Julian Shaw Taylor, right? With your other song, The Delicate Balance of All Things. And your song is Open Wound Heart. Tell us about that one. I know you wrote it along with Michael Rozon and Michael Ciravolo.
Yeah, that was a huge present that I received in my inbox. Again, another Christmas present. Michael said he was going to send me a song, and if I didn't like it, he would send something else, but it was like, it blew my mind. It was absolutely gorgeous and terrifying, because I started working on it, and I felt, I don't know if I felt maybe a little intimidated. I don't know. It was just so much beauty, and I felt like nothing could match that level of gorgeousness. So I had I had a bit of a problem to start working on that song, but once I got going, it was such a journey, a wonderful journey, and that's what I wanted to achieve with the lyrics and with all the BVs and all the harmonies, all the parts. And yeah, Julian Taylor, he did a remix of My Heart is a Ghost Town.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So I knew already how talented he was, and his remix is very, very creative. I love his choices. The parts he chose for his remixes are really, really lovely and very different from all the other remixes. And of course we have Tim Palmer doing another remix, absolutely gorgeous, and John Pryor, you know, being a huge Cocteau Twins fan, and this Mortal Coil, that was a massive present as well.
The mix he did, I can really see that 4AD in there, you know, that 4AD signature. Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's surreal. It's surreal. I mean, I'm a huge This Mortal Coil fan, so that is absolutely surreal.
I think Cynthia's being really modest when she said she struggled with it and was intimidated, because when the song came back, it was perfect. I mean, she did so many layers of vocals and everything. It's like, because really the song doesn't have a whole lot going on. It's like kind of some of the textures carry it, but I mean, I think in the end there was like 18 vocal tracks, and it's just they fit. And there's like these beautiful answers to stuff, and it's layers, and I think she's got a fantastic way of phrasing her lyrics and her melodies. It's a little, like, when I say lazy, it's kind of just slightly behind the beat, and it sounds so, it always sounds like she's singing right in your ear. But it was just like to sit there and listen to bringing up, you know, the lead vocal, and then everything else around it was just you know, fantastic. And this lady's got a beautiful record in the works that I don't know if she's going to talk about or not, but it's going to be fantastic. And, you know, she's got a pretty wonderful musician and guitar player under the roof there too, you know. And the way she felt about John Fryer was like, when, you know, when I was really into the studio side of it myself, thank God I have Michael Rozon, who does that and lets me kind of play and everything. And he, you know, does all the button pushing and that stuff that just goes over my head. I was a huge Tim Palmer fan, like his work on like God's Own Medicine, and then the pedigree that he has, you know, just to get him to work. And, you know, he wrote, when I sent him Cynthia's, this track, Open Wound Heart, he wrote back and he said, this is one of the best songs I've heard in a long time. And, you know, you sit there and go, yeah, man, thank you. And then you step back and go, he's worked with Bowie, he's worked with Robert Plant, he's worked with The Mission, Tears for Fears. I mean, his discography is just going, and to even be mentioned, you know, into that, I know Cynthia and I are both like, it's just like fantastic. And but yeah, their two songs are, you know, almost sound like the same band, you know, and that's not always the case with Beauty and Chaos, but they fit together real well. And I'm thrilled that we're talking about doing videos of both of these songs that I think, you know, from the little bits of our conversation will be different, because everything that's come out so far, including the one of Betsy's song Grasp the Stars, that'll
I like that one too. The Collider, it's amazing.
With the record, these two are going to be way more about their sort of telling the story of both of their songs, and it's going to feature both of these ladies and have little or no real like band performance or anything. We kind of have enough of that on this, but I'm really looking forward to see, you know, where they both take it.
Yeah, and then some of the other tracks, of course, is we try to get her on the show as well. Elena Alice Fossey, who did the Kiss of the World,
Mhm.
and tell us about that one.
I actually tried to remember how I was introduced to Elena. I think maybe Shauna, my PR girl, was doing something with. I mean, Elena's got so many side projects. With that she does Spectre Paris and then everything. So it was maybe something like that. And I thought she had a fantastic voice. And I think
Mhm.
being Italian, it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I'd reached out to her and she replied and said, she'd love to do something. And it really wasn't right for the Storm Before the Calm. And I think maybe they were, her band was doing that record, but the timing just worked out this time. And I thought she did great. And,
Yeah.
filmed the video, sang her song and everything over there. I think she's a little insecure about her English, but she's
Sure.
done some stuff and she's fine. I mean, she has an Italian accent, which is beautiful. So
I know, yeah. I'm a big fan of Killing Camera. I love Killing Camera. And then I know you got Pinky Turzo for a
yeah,
song, Not Your Fault, as well.
that's a really different song on this record. It was it's not a mandolin I wrote it on. It's this odd little I think it's an 8-string instrument. And when I started it, I kept going, well, it sounds like REM, and that's not really a band I was ever really into. But as we started adding stuff to it, it started coming into going, well, this is kind of it might be the most commercial song on the record. I think she made a gorgeous hook out of it. And it's also probably, besides maybe Tish's song, the most, it's actually probably even more personal than Afterlife lyrically. And yeah, it's great. I just got to convince the lady to do a video too. We'll have all 6 of
I
them.
know you got a whole lot of videos to do. And of course, I don't know if I mentioned everybody else. I think we got, and of course, Whitney Ty, the wonderful Whitney Ty, who's been on the show before with you, with Orion. I love that song. Always love that song.
Yeah, that song came together so easy. I think when Whitney was on with me, it was like sent it to him like 2 days later, and it was just perfect. We like really hit it off. As far as like having same influences and stuff. And I think as soon as I mentioned Bjork, she was just all over it. And the song maybe doesn't have a ton of that influence, but there's an extended version on it where the outro goes more, there's more guitar. It has almost a Led Zeppelin Kashmir feel to it, but she does like these scales, like either Arabic or something, Arabic, that are just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more proud of all 6 of these songs and working with these extremely talented ladies. It's
So I know you mentioned that you have there's the remix version is Further Behind the Veil.
Yeah, I know it gets confusing, but I'm fortunate. I mean, I had so many people like stepped up and said, I'd like to do one. I'd like to do one. That just like typical big fashion. It went from 6 original songs and then a 13-song CD, and there were 10 more songs. And I value anybody who's willing to put the time and their heart into something. I wasn't gonna go, hey, I got enough, because everything would come back and it was great. And I just felt that it deserved to have its own little CD and put out there too, and not just get lost in the shuffle. So I talked Tim Perry, who runs 33 1/3, said, why don't we just do a short run CD so everybody has their song on something physical that is just not in the internet ether out there. Because I think the songs that are on that might even be more of the left of center remixes, like Bentley Jones, who did a remix on the previous record, does this dance floor EDM take on Orion that's just crazy. Like you could imagine it in a rave. He sped up the tempo but kept our vocals the same, and it's just like it's crazy. So that those last songs are really kind of an abrupt turn, but I mean, they're wonderful. That's,
So
that
who's-
also has, I'm sorry, that has Julian's version of My Heart's a Ghost Town, and he had Alan White, who's Morrissey's guitar player,
Uh-huh.
play some stuff on that, and it's really good. Just, guitar players are different. I'll hear it and it'll be like, that's great, but it's something I would never think of playing to that. So I think that's what makes like Julian's version of Cynthia's track really, really different.
Yeah, definitely. It's beautiful. So who's on the cover of the album?
Me.
No, isn't that, what's that cover? Let me see. Really?
No,
No, okay. I'm just thinking, which one are you talking about? Okay, this this one.
it's actually a stock image. I have a habit of getting stuck
Oh, okay,
on
okay.
the first thing I see. Like
Uh-huh.
I saw that and my head went, that's the cover. And it was just stock image. We got permission to use it. And which I think is good. I have 6 ladies on the cover and they're on this record and they're all beautiful. I could have picked any one of them. Go, hey, you want to do a cover picture? And it just seemed this was sort of nondescript. The woman in the picture was holding a veil. And in my head, it was just like, that
Yeah, it's beautiful.
should be the cover.
It's beautiful.
But
And
I
so-
thought for a second, you did think it was, you had to look, go, was that really him holding a veil?
No, I was thinking, okay, so he must be talking about the album cover that I haven't seen yet. So I wasn't sure what you were talking about. Well, so the album's gonna come out on, you pick a great day. Is there a reason why you picked that day? Is there something significant about that? I know it's like 2222.
Just again, I knew we could finish it in February, and it just, when I saw that there was that, it just seemed to work. We did Elena's video on 1 2 2 2 1 2 2 2 1. So I kind of got on that little.
Well, in numerology, number 2 is about love. So you picked the right one.
Yeah, I knew that.
No, you didn't.
He's the man of love. Obviously, I think everybody here has that love element in everything they do. I mean, Cynthia, do you want to talk about what Michael was saying about your latest stuff? Oh, you don't have to. I mean,
Yeah, we're working on an album, Wayne and I. It's going really well, a little slow, but really well. We got some amazing people playing some instruments. One of them is our beautiful friend Michael. He's done some amazing playing on this album, and I'm so happy, so happy. And very soon we will have the first single coming out very soon. Yeah, it's been quite a journey as well. Really lovely.
so it's a whole album.
It's a whole album.
Oh, wow. When did you anticipate the release?
I think later this year.
Oh, okay. So the
Yeah.
single coming out, the first single. And we'll be
Yeah,
sure
the
to
first.
hear.
Yeah, we'll release maybe a couple singles, 3 singles before the album comes. So there's something coming very soon.
Is there a title for the album, or you want to keep that secret?
I want to keep it for the time being.
Okay. Well,
But you will be the first one to know. I promise you.
Thank you very much. Well, one of my, like I was telling them earlier, one of my favorite songs from Beauty and Chaos is the one that Wayne is in. The Long Goodbye.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I
One of
love
the
it.
most- Even the video is so beautiful, it's so stunning, and and I play that often. I don't know. I mean, it's just so beautiful. It's a beautiful ballad. You guys did a really great job with that. The guitar in the end, it just, oh God.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I don't know if
I
you've
love it
heard, but Wayne did Wayne did when he was in Europe, he did a couple of shows with, it was Wayne Hussey and the Divine, and they did a really gorgeous version of the song. That he had a couple of actual really strings. I mean, Michael Rozon wrote a really beautiful string arrangement to our version of it, and hearing it we did it on synths and a little bit of real violin, but he had a small little few pieces, and it was great. I'll have to make sure I send you that. He sings it you know, great. I mean, Cynthia's saying that she was felt the daunting. I mean, Wayne was always one of my favorite guitar players. So
Mhm.
to go, hey, we're sending you a song to play on, and Wayne might play on it too. And we didn't really hear what each other did, and the little bits that I've heard back seem to mesh well. But yeah, that's a little daunting, you know. Before we became friends, I mean, I'm a huge, Tish and I are both huge Mission fans, and
Oh yeah, me
I
too.
thought he was, besides being a great singer and lyricist, I thought he was, you know, a really fantastic and underrated guitar player, you know, and, you know, it was honored to get asked to go, hey, you want to play on the record? I'm going, you sure? You got a great guitar player that lives under your roof. And she's like, it's
Yeah,
like,
but
his
it's
mission stuff's
exactly what
always,
you were saying. It's exactly what you were saying about Alan White. It brings in a different texture, a different color, a different, completely different vibe. So it's great.
I'm glad that worked
But
out.
it was, you know, I asked Michael, can you just can you play on this track? I really need, I don't know, something different, something. And he came back with something very similar to what Wayne had done. So that was crazy. That was crazy.
But when Wayne mentioned, I think he said scary monsters, I went, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give him my best, like Adrian Belew or something on that, and I think that worked out. But
Oh, that was
Cynthia's not
amazing.
saying is she said that she goes, oh yeah, that Mission stuff's always predictable.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I get from my wife. Any stuff I play bass on, she always goes, you're a wannabe bass player.
It's true.
And you know the other mix I really like is the Kiss of the World with Mark Gemini Twait on the mix, doing the mix on that one.
Yeah, Mark
Yeah,
did a good take of it.
Hmm.
I have to send you on that little other record that the Further Behind the Veil. There's another, Julian does the music, but I had Elena sing in Italian. So
Oh, I want to.
it's kind of a weird, trancy, repetitive thing, but she sings in, you know, her native tongue, and it's kind of, some of the melodies a little bit different, but then some things fall in place. But I thought is really great. So
Wow, I'm really excited. So this is gonna. So are you gonna release another single, or are you just gonna release everything on that day?
the full record will come out, and
Okay.
we did a video. My goal, I wanted Tish's song to be, since it is the opening song, and you know, the Elena's track had the full band, real bombastic, and lots of visual effects and everything. I wanted it to be her track as the next video, because it, like I said, it's going to be more her and kind of real delicate and everything. And just time wise, then right after Christmas, our whole family got COVID, so it just kind of derailed it. And I was going, all right, I know this other song, it's one night, we can get in here, do this video, and it'll come together. So that's why I put Betsy's track next. But it'll be one of these two ladies' tracks as the next video, and then the one, you know, another one following it up right after that. So that's where we plan on taking, you know, the next part of this record.
Wow. So the video for Cynthia will have to be in Brazil.
We'll be doing it.
Yeah, we'll film part of it here and part of it in
Oh,
America.
great.
So, and then we'll join the two things, and
Beautiful.
hopefully it will come out all right.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, Elena did hers. She filmed herself in front of a green screen in Italy, a couple of different takes, a few different outfits, and
Uh,
we put it together. So the way Cynthia and I are going to approach that, she's got a really nice idea. You know, we looked at a few videos together, and I'm going to wait and see what she does. You know, I mean, it's definitely going to feature her, and then we'll add a little bit of elements probably of Tish and I, just either superimpose, semi-playing, but not like this, you know, here's a band, just something that's, I mean, the song's really delicate, and I think it's really important lyrically, you know, for the attention
Yeah.
on that, and not necessarily her just having to sing every line. You know, I like those kind of videos that it's not, the singer, I got to be by a microphone. And I mean, Cynthia's an actress, and it'll be great because it's a really gorgeous song. And Tish is the plan. I'm kind of hands off in that, but we're having the same people who did the Orion video,
Mhm.
you know, in going something really cinematic for that. Waiting for her dress to come in. I think it's actually the dress that delayed the video.
Yeah.
COVID didn't help it, but the dress not being here, it's like, what? We can do it because of the dress?
Yes. Well,
All
it has to look a certain way.
Yeah,
It has
Yeah,
to look
that's important. That's important, right?
yeah, of course it's important.
Women.
I think
They
Cynthia's
get-
been talking about the dress and everything for her video, so.
Yeah.
I hope it's not the same one, Cinthya.
I don't think it will be.
You know, I'm really looking forward to the time when I can watch you guys perform live.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people. I don't know. Maybe one day it'll be possible.
Yeah, before COVID, like I think the last time we talked, maybe I said I was thinking about it more than I thought I would, because we've never put it together going, how would we do this? You know, it's always, let's just make a diverse and revolving record. But I think it would be a shame that if this ended, however or why ever it ended, that without performing, you know. And I think the more, you know, singers that join the family, the more chance that we have, you know, of making it happen. I mean, if we get Cinthya and Wayne over, that's 5 tracks right there. We got half a set.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Anything is possible.
you know, so I think it would be, you know, I've never played anything to tracks before, but certainly to do this with the instrumentation, you know, we'd have to have some additional elements, but I would never have it where anyone else would sing someone else's song. Like if Wayne couldn't come and we had Ashton here, it's like, Ashton, why don't you sing The Long Goodbye? You know, I don't think that would be cheapening the whole project. So, but again, the more singers there are, I guess if I had to look at it, maybe we would do it one place, rent a nice theater that looked the part, you know, rehearse one night in there, you know, and maybe film that, and then do a 2-night show, maybe changing up some of the songs the second night, and hopefully filming it, and then maybe it culminating and having like a nice DVD. Probably less people buy those than buy CDs, but something, a live stream or whatever the hell people nowadays want to consume, watch something. But I think the whole project deserves that.
Yeah.
And it does feel like another challenge, like how to pull that off. Really the who, how, and where, you know, but we could figure it out, you know.
Yeah. Well, there's Hawaii and there's Brazil and
Yeah.
Well, where it might have to end up being here, but we'll see.
yeah, just me in LA. Yeah. Well, you know, congratulations on this amazing album, Behind the Veil. I know it's available on CD as well as digital and vinyl soon.
Yeah.
And if people want to check that out, the website, beautyandchaosmusic.com. And where else is it available? I know it's also available on.
It'll be on the usual Bandcamp, and as much as I've kicked and screamed about Spotify and streaming, I still hate that. Again, I don't think it's fair that you know, again, it's not just me putting the work, it's these ladies, it's people doing the remixes. I just think it deserves to be out there however people decide they want to consume or hear music, and then each person can share their mixes and stuff like that. So basically I just threw my hands up and said, okay, it's streaming too, you know. I can't make people go into a record store like I used to as a kid and go, this was a great way of finding music, you know. But so yeah, it's going to be available everywhere on the 22nd, which is what, 4 or 5 days away.
Yeah, very soon, like in a few days. But if people want to, listen to the Queen of Wands on Mod Snap Radio, I'll be playing that before it even gets released. So thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes.
February 22, 2022. Big shout out to Shauna from Shameless Promotion PR. And, thank you guys for joining me and taking the opportunity. And I know you're all busy and it's late and early, whatever it is, but thank you so much for being on the show. I always appreciate talking with you guys. I learn so much every time I talk to somebody that we're all connected somehow to Hawaii. And that's
Well, I know I can speak for not only these two ladies, but everybody else that we appreciate it. You've been kind to everybody that's been part of the Beauty and Chaos family. Everybody have said, hey, I know I'm sure you'll do something with Whitney, and you've had Cinthya on before, and I'm sure you'll have her on when her albums.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be looking for that.
Thank you so much. You've always been so supportive. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. No, I know you. I know you. Everybody is so far away and everything like that. And there's a concert I try to get over there if I could, But I know we'll all be together one of these days.
Yeah. Oh, decided she.
And I know that's another superstar right there.
In all honesty, it's really great what you do, and I wish there were 1,000 more.
Thank you, Michael.
This will be the first place to hear it, so I hope people hear, Afterlife and Open Moon Heart here and really get, listen to the words, listen to what these two ladies put into those songs.
Yeah, and I really like how you did this. Your website where you have it. People want to check out, beautyandchaosmusic.com. You can see like who's involved in the music, in the particular tracks, the remixes, the lyrics even, and you don't find that in many. I mean, people don't know. They don't know what It's so wonderful how you did this, put this together.
I thought it was important to ask each of the ladies that did the songs, let them kind of have a forum to say why they wrote it or what it was about, and then also the remix people say that.
I mean, everybody's in here,
but it's there. It's a lot of work. Sometimes I feel like a secretary, like it's as much of that as creating music, and I've had Tish, hey, could you proof this massive amount of stuff I just wrote? But it's there. I do hope people take a look at it because
yeah. Well, I'm looking at it, and if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't know. I mean, that's why I'm bringing up everybody involved, and I think you give them credit, Michael, and that's really good. I'm sure they all appreciate it. And you did a great job. All of you guys, thank you so much. I mean,
thanks.
Where would we be without music, right? Music is life. Music is love. Thank you for taking the effort and the opportunity. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yay.
Okay,
Thank you. Very nice seeing you in person here, dear.
I know. I'm gonna just put this on and your dog too, Bella and Champ.
Champ. Yeah.
Okay, here I'm gonna turn this off.